What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, happy Wednesday. What's up? How you doing? Glad to have you back.
I appreciate that. I'm doing pretty good. Um, Came back from a few days trip in Orlando, Florida, but I'm back now. Yeah, got home at a decent amount of time. I had my son record the Super Bowl for me because I missed like the first half, but I came home in a decent enough time where I got to see the good parts, I guess you can say. Like the um where it started to get interesting, I guess you can say. So yeah.
Yeah, what's up, chat? Happy Valentine's to everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone's doing great. Before we get started, I do want to pay my respects to the city of Kansas City. They had their championship parade today, and right as the parade was ending, unfortunately, a shooting, occurred. There's like 10, they haven't let any specific numbers out yet, but like 10 to 15 so far injured that they have. One or two deaths, children were involved. And it sucks that like a day that's supposed to be of celebration and joy and all this stuff gets ruined with people's senseless fucking bullshit acts all the time. And like it's disgusting. Like
Yeah.
you can't, I mean, that's what kept me from going to the Aces last parade here, because there were like threats going on and shit, and it's just like I can't risk me and my family's lives to go out there and
Exactly.
celebrate. It's unfortunate.
It's
And so I do want to send prayers, love, everything out to the city of Kansas City. Obviously, even though they beat our ass, took our Super Bowl from us, I still want to send, that's nothing compared to what they're going through right now. So yeah, all prayers and everything up to them, to the families that were affected, and to the ones that lost their lives as well. And I hope those ones fighting in the hospital for their lives continue to fight and hold on, and that they're able to get well quickly. TL, if you'd like to say anything.
it's just a unfortunate, event that happened, and it's just like you said, you're at home in front of your fans, for the most part. I know there's some stragglers here and there that like other teams, but you figure 90% of the people who are there are probably Kansas City Chiefs fans. So you sit there, and these teams don't have to do this.
Hmm.
They can just be like, "Oh, you know what? Since you guys are gonna act a donkey, I'm not gonna have no parade because you guys don't know how to act." But they're doing it for you guys. They do it to celebrate with you guys, be up close and personal, to be able to celebrate the victory with you guys. You guys won't want to act a fool, which is it's shameful, to be honest. Like you guys sit there, like if I'm a team, I'll tell you guys, like, you know what? I'm not going to have a parade. I'm not doing it because then you're putting their lives in danger as well. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's sad. I mean, people just don't know how to act. Like I remember, I never forget. I was raised in a town called Fresno, California, and I never forget. Like we never had anything good. Like it's that town is straight hood. There's a lot of killing stuff like that, and everybody always called the local radio station. I was like, we need to have more stuff here in Fresno. We need to have more concerts, more venues, stuff like that. And I never forget, they had brought in Big Pun before he passed away, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Dub C, who's a rapper from Los Angeles area, like some decent amount of people. And what happens? Shootings and fights. And I never forget the radio disc jockey was like, "That's why we can never have anything. You guys complain that we don't have nothing good in Fresno. We bring you something, and you guys want to act a fool."
Yeah.
Same thing, same thing. Like it's just people just don't know how to act. So it sucks that it has to be like that. And I know, you know what? And shouts out to that fan who risked his life to tackle one of the shooters.
Yeah.
He chased this man down and tackled him something fierce, and I'm like, you know what? Good on you, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad that somebody took action, and it sucks because you're putting your own life in danger as well. But the fact at that moment, it's a split decision. Like, oh no, he's not gonna be shooting no more. He got him and he tackled him
Hmm.
around. More power to you, man, and kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah. And and to the first responders as well. The videos, like those cops showed like the cops and the military like rushing in there so quick. And it's because of them, and like you said, the fans that risk their own lives to help take the shooters down, that they were able to respond and get them down so quickly, and saved lives of who knows how many people. um so yeah, before we started, I did want to make sure that we paid their our respects to them. um and continued prayers out to them. And I have a lot of friends that are Kansas City Chiefs fans. I have friends that live in Kansas City that were at the parade. Luckily, they all got out safe and are home safe now. But like, it affects many. So
Yeah.
um we are going to start off. Well, before we start off with that, let me start off by saying we did get to the 700 subscribers that unlocked the giveaway for the Brandon Ayuk rookie patch card. So we will end the show giving that away today. So thank you, everybody that subscribed. We do appreciate it. Like I said, for 800 subscribers, 900 and 1,000. At 1,000, we're doing a jersey giveaway. I have Jair Brown and Talanoa Hafunga giveaways to go, autographed giveaways. Both of those are autographed to go out at 800 subs and 900 subs. So once we get there, then that'll unlock those. We are going to start off, though, even though we lost, our season's over, we ain't going to be just, sitting around here not doing anything cool. So we're still doing giveaways. We are starting, we're going to do it the beginning, the middle, and the end of the show, like we've been doing lately. We will start off the show with a Kittle and Kinlaw, the 2K guys, giveaways. So go ahead and get your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100. We got Kinlaw rookie card, and unfortunately, this didn't come true on Sunday, but Kittle touchdown masters. The pain. So we'll start off the show at that. The halfway points, we're gonna do a Frank Gore, a Nick Bosa, and a Brandon Ayuk giveaway. And then, like I said, we're ending the show with the Ayuk jersey card and a numbered Tayshaun Gibson card. So that'll be the giveaways set up for today. Good luck to everybody. Like I said, go ahead and get those numbers in the chat right now. Let me say what's up to those lovelies that are here. Starting off with Don. First to the door, Don. Appreciate you. We got CarCast in the house. What's good, CarCast? Daniel Barry, what up? Meg, what's good, Meg? 49er Vito says, what's up, y'all? I'll be here in about 20 minutes. I have to drive home real quick. Drive home safe. We will be here. A friend of mine, her stepkids were there and got out safe. That's good. Yeah. And that parade was freaking packed too. It wasn't like no, Rams parade where there was only 5 freaking people out there, the Kansas City parade.
All their family members only.
Yeah, like I remember before all this happened, when I was watching clips from it this morning, like I remember actually thinking, like, damn, there's tons of people there, like people on people on people, and I was like, good for them. They're all able to get out there and celebrate, and then, shit happens.
Yeah.
Hey, G, what's up, Gina? Appreciate you pulling through, showing some love. Appreciate it, Meg. Thanks so much. Motor, what's good, Motor? We're hanging in, well, I will speak for myself. I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm disappointed, but I'm alive, I'm living, I'm well, my family's great, so I can't complain too much, right? Like,
No.
that's sports. It's hard being a fan sometimes. But will I ever take my jerseys off and fucking burn them, rip up my 49ers shit, throw it in the trash,
Will you ever tear up your 70-inch TV? Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
None of that is going on.
Exactly. I work too hard to pay for that stuff.
Exactly. So yeah, I know, this is the slow time, of course. Some people, they're not ready for 49ers content yet. And, I get it. Um, people are asking, oh, have you watched back the Super Bowl yet? And it's like, no, I haven't even watched back the last Super Bowl lost to Kansas City. So I sure in the hell ain't in no rush to get to this one, right? Like, that's not something I'm just rushing out to do. Like, I don't want to put myself through the freaking pain again. So I get it. Some people, they stop watching 49ers content the entire off season, and they'll come back once the season's, the beginning of the season or training camp or whatever. When you come back, we'll be here. But those that hang out with us all off season, I will try to bring some fun stuff for us to do. So that we're not just here twiddling our thumbs with nothing to talk about. And yeah, we'll get through the off season together. Once you're in this, it's like the off season, especially going to the Super Bowl. We're so late into the season, already that the off season will be short and it'll be back before
Yeah.
we even know it. So
Yeah, and the good thing, Mariah, our content will be a lot more this year because we have free agency, obviously, that we always talk about, but now, we don't have to worry about waiting until the third round for draft picks.
exactly.
We have 11 picks going
Woo!
forward, and a few in every round, so it's gonna be some content. So stick around, fam.
First round pick. So the 49ers can select a defensive end.
Yep, because that's how we get down.
All right. Before we get in, there's so much to talk about. And,
Oh my God.
normally I have my questions that I write down, but like this is my notes, guys. Like
Oh
a
my goodness.
freaking fucking mess because like my thoughts and things that I just wanted to talk about were just all over the place. Um, so, this is the first show we've had since the Super Bowl. We got to talk and get it off our chests. So, we're definitely going to do that. But by no means do I want to spend the whole fucking show crying about that. So, we're going to talk about the injuries. We have a lot of coaches. Steve Wilkes, fired, out of here. So, of course, we're going to talk about that. We have, 3 coaches so far that have left us to go to Washington and the Saints. So we have all kinds of stuff to talk about. I did want to start off though with something not so, heartbreaking. And that, the 49ers, they always do their end of season awards. So I did want to start off with that because, of course, the season didn't end how we wanted to. And we all said throughout the whole season, if it didn't end, with a Super Bowl win, then obviously it's a waste of the season, right? Because that's what you are freaking playing for. But the season, we still made it to the Super Bowl. We're not just going to erase the whole great season and not give the guys props for everything that they went through and got through. We had some guys that really fucking had amazing seasons, like CMC, Purdy, like a guy in his first full year starting, like to be an MVP talks, like they had amazing seasons. So definitely want to talk about that. I'm getting it pulled up here so I can have.
Get your numbers in too, fam. The people that are just
Yep.
joining us.
Yep. Because, yeah, actually, I'm going to call the winners before I give out those awards. Thanks for reminding me.
Okay.
The numbers will be lost forever. So, yeah, last call. If you don't have your numbers in, too bad. Get them in because we're drawing. That was my whole point of going on to say that I know, there's not many people that are going to be watching. So there's not many numbers for you guys to have to compete against.
Yeah. So the 2 cards we're giving out, the first one is we have a Javon Kinlaw and a George Kittle. So we're giving out 2 to start the show.
Yep. Kittle and Kinlaw to start. We got Gore, Bosa, and Ayuk halfway through, and Gibson and Ayuk patch card to end the show. All right. No more numbers. Let's draw. I'm drawing Kittle first and then Kinlaw. Okay. Kittle's number is 63. And Kinlaw, 3.
Oh wow. Okay. And it's 2:49 our time, so we start right here at number 23, the last number. All right.
All right, so let's get these out real quick. Then we'll get on to the 49ers awards. I was so excited to give our guys some props, you know. So this is the George Kittle touchdown masters. And then Kinlaw is a rookie card.
So for the Kittle card, we have Dawn as the winner on that one.
Don. Congrats, Don.
And then for the Kinlaw Sports Laugh and Chill.
Gina. Congrats, G. The ladies with the clean sweep. Congrats. Kinlaw and Gina's. Kittle to Don. All right. Keep those lucky numbers handy for the middle of the show. And we'll do some more giveaways then. My thank you card from Don just fell on the floor. All right. The awards. Back to that. All right. So starting off, the Len Eschmont Award is voted on by the players and is given to the 49er who best exemplifies the inspirational and courageous play of Len Eschmont. So that was given to quarterback Brock Purdy. Shout out to Brock. That really shows you, you know, what his teammates think of him because, you know, this is all voted on by them. So I think he was a great leader for the team, led him to a Super Bowl in his first starting season. So yeah, shout out to Brock Purdy. The Bill Walsh Award. The award, which is voted on by the coaching staff, is given to the 49er who has best represented the standard of professional excellence established by Walsh. And that goes to running back Christian McCaffrey. Christian cleaned up the awards. Like, he was such a friggin' dominating running back in the league all these years while he was in the shit, you know, team of Carolina. You know, and it's like, who would have ever thought? People thought, oh, they're going to trade for him. He's going to come over here. He's going to get hurt. He won't be shit. You know, C-. Don't forget C- draft, the grade they gave us. And he's upped his freaking production since coming over here and has been greater than he was when he was over there. Like,
yeah,
I was expecting, okay, we'll see the CMC that we've seen, you know, like I wasn't expecting him to come through and be the offensive player of the year, up for MVP talks. Like, I'll take it. This one, I thought was very fitting because you guys all know I call Fred Warner Iron Man. And this award is Hazeltine, maybe Iron Man Award. Fred Warner won that. Is named for the former linebacker Matt Hazeltine, a 13-year performer who played more seasons at linebacker than any other 49ers player, known for his durability and dedication. Definitely sounds like Fred Warner to me. We got the Bob McKittrick Award. It's given annually to the 49ers offensive lineman who best represents the courage, intensity, and sacrifice displayed by the longtime offensive line coach. That went to Colton McKivitz, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Thomas Herian Memorial Award was established in 2005. It's presented to a rookie or first-year player who best represents the dream of Thomas Herian. The recipient has taken advantage of every opportunity, turned it into a positive situation, and made their dream turn into a reality. To no other than my guy, safety, Jair Brown. Woohoo! I'm so excited for that kid, man.
Same here. Can't wait to see him and Hufanga together.
Oh, man. Like, as soon as we lost, that was like my first like positive tweet that I sent out right after we lost the Super Bowl. It was like, well, looking forward, the thing to be happy about is that we have Hufanga and Jair Brown playing together next season.
Yeah.
The Ed Block Courage Award. Let me see. It is Block was a pioneer in his profession and respected humanitarian whose most passionate cause was helping children of abuse. The award is presented in his name each year to the player that exemplified a commitment to sportsmanship and courage. Javon Kinlaw. Shout out to Javon because, man, he stayed healthy this year. And with all those injuries, especially down the stretch, to Armstead and to the other Javon, like he came in very handy for us.
Mm-hmm.
The Perry Unity Award is presented to the 49ers player who exhibits an exceptional commitment to promoting unity within the team and in their community. George Kittle. I think that's very fitting. As we know, Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee was Eric Armstead. They have that in there. And then we talked about this earlier, the Gary Niver Award, given from the media to the player that, helps them the most, has been like Trent Williams the last couple years. And Nick Bosa got it this year. I thought that was kind of, crazy that he gets the media award. He barely even freaking says 5 words. I'm like, did he threaten them or how did they get the, like, we can't give it to Trent Williams again. Who can we give it to?
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, hats off to the guys. I just wanted to go through that real quick, give our guys some love because, man, they've been getting a lot of heat these last few days. But shit, for the off season only being 3 days, however long. Yeah. Already on the first day of the off season, like all this crazy shit's happening, right? It's like, oh my God, like if this is any sign of what the off season's going to be like, buckle up.
Yeah, for real.
Up. All right. So let's jump into this. Well, let's start with Wilkes first before we get into the Super Bowl. Let's prolong that as much as possible. Steve Wilkes gets fired today. I thought it was very interesting the fact that Kyle and John Lynch go before the media yesterday, and Kyle's asked questions about specifically Steve Wilkes keeping his job. And he kind of went about a roundabout answer first, about yada, yada, yada. And then like 4 minutes later, they're like, so to follow up, is Steve Wilkes going to be on your staff? And he says, I expect all my coaches to be on my staff next season. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we've already lost 4 coaches in the last 3 days. So, that's kind of interesting that you expect all your coaches to be on your staff next year.
Yeah.
So Steve Wilkes, I know this season was crazy for Steve Wilkes, to say the least. I see the question since this is going, since it got announced of his firing. I see the question out there a lot on social media the last couple hours. And that was, if the 49ers won the Super Bowl, would Steve Wilkes still be fired? My thoughts on it are this, and then I'll throw it over to you. Mm-hmm. I think if the 49ers won or lost, Steve Wilkes was out of here. I think this has been the whole year brewing thing. This wasn't just we got into the Super Bowl. I didn't like how you called plays, so you're out of here. We saw the whole, after the Vikings game or whenever, Kyle comes out and right in the media after we lose the game, throwing Wilkes under the bus. The blitz call was wrong and all this shit that lost the game. Kyle don't do that. Kyle don't throw his coaches under the bus in front of the media like that. So there was the first thing. Then him coming out of the booth, like that's where Wilkes coaches. You make him come out of the booth down to the sideline. Okay, cool. And it was just like, you could just see, like, I don't know if it's like Steve Wilkes just doesn't fit in this culture. He doesn't fit with Kyle. Like, I don't know if they're both two need the power and budding that way. I don't know what it is, but I could tell just by Kyle's body language, by everything, the entire season when it came to Steve Wilkes, that he was not happy with Steve Wilkes. So I personally think had the 49ers won, lost, it didn't matter. Steve Wilkes was out of here. I obviously the 49ers lose. So yeah, he's the scapegoat. Somebody has to get out of here. It's Steve Wilkes. But I honestly think either way, Steve Wilkes was out of here. Um, and you have your star players coming out after the Super Bowl saying that they weren't prepared for plays on defense. Um, well, that's Steve Wilkes' job to get the team prepared. You had 2 fucking weeks to be prepared. So why you weren't prepared, there's no excuse. Um, halfway through the season, we had our star defensive guys coming out saying that they were having a hard time learning what Steve Wilkes wanted them to do on the front end. So yeah, our back end got better. The back end guys liked Steve Wilkes, but the front end, there was an issue there. There
Yeah.
was an issue with the linebackers. There was an issue with the D line. We even heard a safety, Tashawn Gibson came out and said, oh, after one of the games said, even if we're put in the wrong positions on the field, we have too much talent to not overcome that. Like if our coach gives us the wrong assignment, puts us in the wrong position, we have enough talent to just be able to, to work against that, like to beat that and beat the team that we're playing. It's just like, I think it was just too much. I don't know what it is with Steve Wilkes, as we saw, remember with Carolina when he took over halfway through as the head coach and everybody thought, oh, he'll get that job. And then they fired him. Right. So everybody is questioning, well, why? What happened? It seemed like everything was great, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know if something's going on with Steve Wilkes behind the scenes that isn't working or what it is, but to get fired, like a year stint each place is kind of crazy. Your thoughts?
Um, would he have gotten fired after the Super Bowl if we had won? Who knows? I wouldn't have been surprised either way. Like how can you? And here, so let me back up a little bit. The defense I felt played pretty well. You know what I mean? Like when I sit there and rewatched it, like until the 3 minute mark in the third quarter, the the Chiefs hadn't scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, and there was times during the season, and I get it. Like during the season, there was some stuff that went on. During the 3 game losing streak, people were like, "Oh, fire him, fire him." Well, you know what? Both sides of the ball weren't performing up to par. You know what I mean? The offense had scored was went from 31 points a game to 17, and then the defense was struggling. Then after that bye week is when Steve Wills came down from the booth to the field, and then things
Mm-hmm.
had changed. So I I'm not gonna put it all on Steve Wilkes because you look at the stuff and this is not I know he didn't get fired just because of the Super Bowl, but he got scapegoated because we lost the Super Bowl. But if
Yeah.
you look at what happened in the Super Bowl, there was a Christian McCaffrey fumble, and no points were scored when the Chiefs got the ball. They held him. Then you got the Isaiah Pacheco fumble. You know what I mean? So that was a turnover for the offense. Nothing happened. You know what I mean? And then you had Dre Greenlaw, which sucks, man. Like, him running onto the field tearing his Achilles. That's another thing that happened. We start the second half. First possession of the Chiefs, what happens? A Jair Brown interception. What does that mean? We get the ball back for the offense. Then you got the muff punt when it hit Daryl Luter in the back of the leg. And then Ray McLeod, you're too much of a veteran, brother. You need to jump on that ball. Stop trying to pick it up. And then, like I said, held the Chiefs offense to less than 10 points for almost 3 quarters. So, but like I said, I put this more on Kyle and John because if you hit all the great points, a year stint in places, this net. You should have got a feel for your guy before you hired him. So if you didn't really vibe with him in the first place, then maybe that's somebody that you shouldn't have even have brought in. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And because you look at there and you look at the history of what's transpired. Bosa, I said this before and I say it again. I don't want to really hear nothing from you because the simple fact you held out. Talking about wanting to be a leader of this team. You should have been there day one, at least, even if you weren't practicing, at least there to try to find out what the scheme was and try to get
Mm-hmm.
better. So we can sit here and say that Steve Wilkes underperformed. Sure, okay, cool. I'm okay with that. But in my mind, the D line performed even less because I don't care what the situation is. Your job is to get to the quarterback, and there was a lot of one-on-one matchups that could have been won because we talked
Mm-hmm.
about this, Mariah, especially after we got Chase Young. You had 4 first round picks and a second round pick in Hargrave or whatever the case may be, right? But then you have Young, Bosa, Hargrave, and Armstead. Somebody at least should be making a quarterback uncomfortable. I'm not saying you get a sack every single play. That's unrealistic. But somebody should be making. There's a lot of one-on-one matchups that weren't being won on this D line. So if anybody, I'm pissed off more than the D line than I am when it comes to Steve Wilkes. All I
Yep.
gotta say is if you're gonna bring in somebody, make sure you do your homework and get the guy who you think is gonna be the man to come in and run the defense that you want to run for this team instead of having somebody, you know what he does. He likes to blitz. And that's something that you guys had an issue with. So if you guys are not going to have that, maybe hire in-house like a I don't know if it's Daniel or Josh, one of the twin safeties who's the secondary coach. You want to bring him in. Chris Casero already says he's comfortable where he's at. So you're gonna have to come in and bring somebody. I keep bringing up a name. Everybody says no, not him, but he's not. I'm not talking about a head coach. Somebody like a Ron Rivera. He's a good defensive coach guy who runs our similar scheme. So if you're gonna bring in somebody like that, I'm cool with it. But yeah, the Steve Wilkes thing, I'm with Gina. He was gonna be scapegoated regardless, because there was situations where when you have a bunch of players coming out and saying, "Oh, he didn't do this right, he didn't do right." Ultimately, the players are always gonna win.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Especially when there are players on our team that are making 20 plus 20 million
quarterback
a
money.
freaking yeah.
Yeah, making quarterback money. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I wish him
Yep.
the best, but you could definitely see that this was something that was brewing all season long.
Yep.
I definitely think Daniel Bullock is somebody that they should like if going out, getting somebody from outside is not the thing, then promote somebody within, obviously, and I think Daniel Bullock, like we've heard the players are constantly praising him. And I think he's been with the team now like 7 years or
Yeah,
so.
he
So
came he
like,
came in with Kyle, I believe,
yeah.
as like a coach, yeah. And like
So
and we've seen the history. You got Sala, who was already, had a relationship with Kyle, then you went from Sala to D'Amico Ryans. It's worked the last two defensive coordinators. So try it again. Try either whether it's a linebacker coach, secondary coach, whatever. Obviously it's not gonna be Chris Casera because he's comfortable,
mhm,
but if you have somebody who's been in the organization 3, 4, 5 years with you, give them a shot. But here's what I'll say too, though. It's like, you look at the first years, and I get it. There's more talent now than there was in 2018, and I get it. But at the same time, that was D'Amico Ryan's his first year when Salah left, he struggled a bit. And he was comfortable with the roster. And I
mhm,
never forget people were calling for his head. Oh, we messed up. We should have kept Salah. D'Amico Ryan's ain't it. And then 2 years later it's, oh, I don't want that man to
mm,
go. So, it's like one of those things where it's like you look at the stats and how everything lined up for Sala, Ryans, and Steve Wilkes. They all struggled at certain times during their first year. So I feel like the fans are gonna pick and choose who they like, who they don't like, stuff like that. We've seen during the 3-game losing streak how half the fan base was split on, oh, let's go ahead and get rid of this man and all this other stuff. But it just sucks because there's mistakes. I'm gonna say this: there's mistakes that are always made on both sides. The Super Bowl, the 3-game losing streak. Those, but obviously, one gets put on a pedestal over the other. So Kyle's never going to get that hate, I guess, per se, as far as like he'll never get the blame because everybody's always too scared to, you know, get rid of Kyle. I guess you can say. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I will say, even though the other two guys before him struggled, at times in their first year and whatnot, they were still a culture fit. The players
Hmm.
loved them. Like you could just see the love that they had for the players back. I just
For
never
sure.
felt that. Even once Wilkes came down to the field, like I was
Hmm.
hoping we would see more of that. And like, yeah, you would see him like, yeah, whatever. But
Yeah.
it just never felt that like he was part of the family, like
Yeah.
this staff is a family, with the players. Like they have a great relationship from what we see,
Yeah.
and it just never seemed like Wilkes fit in with
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, Mariah, it's kind of like, at a job. Let's just say you and I work together, and let's just say who's the first name I say. Let's just say Gina was one of our coworkers, and she worked with us, and she got promoted. we're gonna already be comfortable.
Yeah.
That's our it's somebody we've worked with for a couple years. So we know her tactics, we know her work ethic, stuff like that. But if they hire an outsider, we're gonna be more weary, like, oh, how's this person? Are they
Mhm.
backstabbing? You know how it is. Like you kind of worry about when you bring in somebody who has not been, in your same organization because you don't know how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Which when somebody like a D'Amico Ryan's, people he was already loved in the organization. Oh, cool, he's gonna get promoted. So, it's kind of I don't know. I felt like Steve Wilkes was destined to fail from the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah. Couple other coaches that we lost today and that's been out there. We had talked about this last week when JV was on the show, but that's pass game coordinator Clint Kubiak. We knew that we were just waiting for the Super Bowl to be over. He's going to the Saints as their OC. We also announced today was, and me and TL were talking before the show, like I had totally forgot that this guy was even a part of the team because we didn't hear him mentioned like during the entire season. Didn't see him, didn't hear him mentioned. And that's assistant head coach Anthony Lynn, who is going to Washington. And from what I've heard, he actually chose to leave the 49ers to go to
Hmm.
Washington. It wasn't like a promotion, I'm going to go thing. It was his choosing. I want to leave here and I want to go
Hmm.
to Washington. So there's that. And as well, assistant D line coach Daryl Tapp
Hmm.
went to Washington to be their D line coach. So, like as you were talking, we know Kasarik has talked about he didn't want, to be promoted in the past, but it's like now, like if he was, well, we were able to do that because we had Daryl Tapp behind him that would have taken over the D line. Well, now we don't have that. So now don't even fucking offer it to him. He don't need it. Keep him where the hell he's at because we have nobody to take over that spot. um, so yeah, I mean, I wish them all the best. This is not like, none of those are spots where it's like a starting this, like it's not our starting D line coach. It's not obviously our head coach, it's an assistant, pass game coordinator. I think those are all positions that are easily to refill. We have guys on the staff that they can easily promote up into those spots.
Yeah.
Um, so, I wish them the best. Like I said, Anthony Lynn, I forgot he was even a part of the team. So it's not like it hurts my feelings that he's going to Washington. And it's good for Washington. They have Adam Peters over there. We know every time we lose a GM or we lose a head coach, they take guys from the organization with them. So
Hmm.
if anybody thought we'd be losing Adam Peters and to Washington, and he wouldn't be taking coaches and players with him. Um, you were in for a rude awakening. So
Yes.
this is all definitely stuff I was expecting. So I'm not worried about any of these positions. Um, and yeah, I wish them all the best. I wish them all the success when they're not playing us. And yeah, what are your thoughts on all of them?
Yeah, I mean, Daryl Tep, I remember when he came out of college, I think he went to Virginia Tech. I wanted him for us to draft him at one point. Like
Mhm.
I thought he was a pretty good guy. I'm well, it's funny. I would say one thing I'm worried about is one thing I'm not worried about is the D line. But as I mentioned earlier, the D line probably didn't stand. They were very lackluster all year. Very underperforming and stuff like that. But yeah, Anthony Lynn, like I said, I don't know what he did behind the scenes. I feel like out of all the coaches, he had the easiest paycheck in football. I was, jokingly saying that because, I'm just like, man, I forgot that they hired this man 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like he's never talked about, doesn't do any
He
interviews.
obviously wasn't telling Kyle what to do.
No, no, that's not going to happen. But, it's one of those things. But, I just hope that, um, Kubiak, um, I'm happy for all of them. Let's just be honest. I'm happy for all of them. Like you go and you do your thing, and I just hope that everything all pans out. Like you said, if you thought Adam Peters wasn't going to snatch from our roster, you're crazy. You see what Mike McDaniel did. He was like, "I'll take this coach. Give me this wide receivers coach. Give me this running back," and it's not over. Like,
Mhm.
we're going to see it in the offseason what's going to happen. With Daryl Tapp being the D line coach, and them having some money over there in Washington. be prepared for like a Cleveland Farrell or whoever, to be taken, maybe even a Kinlaw or whatever to be taken because that's just something who can fit his system. But yeah,
Mhm.
just to go back to this is the last thing I'll say about Steve Wilkes, and I'm not, I don't know what happened behind the scenes and stuff like that, but at some point, you can't be, and I'm not saying this was him, but at some point, and he's an older guy, like D'Amico Ryans and Sala were about, they're like in their 40s, like us, like they're younger, of the younger side, as far as like, with the guys, and probably can have a better relationship because they understand them a little bit more. But at the same time, like I hope that at least Steve Wilkes at least tried to have like a defensive group only meeting and say, hey, look, there's some stuff going on here which I feel is not good. What would you like to see changed as far as to help you succeed? Because even though I'm the D coordinator, I'm not closed minded to hear your guys' thoughts. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
whoever they bring in, if they're not in the organization and they're having some issues, I don't want to see another defensive coordinator being fired again in 2025. So
Exactly.
whoever you bring in, hopefully they have an open mind to change some stuff up. And maybe he did this. I'm not saying he didn't. Maybe he did this and he was just like, and it didn't work or whatever. But at least have an open mind to hear your players. Even though you have your own set of rules and your scheme, you still need to understand that these players are the ones who go out there and put it out on the field. So at least listen to them. And I just hope that we get a defensive coordinator who's going to stick around, and we don't get into the situation where we start playing musical chairs with defensive coaches. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. Um, all right. So, oh, actually, one coach, let me talk to you about this for a second. Our O line. Now, Chris Forrester, it's, I know we get on the 49ers and they didn't this last draft, but they have drafted O line. Okay. And now Banks is the only one really that we have drafted and has actually done something, right? Now, when do they'll say the 49ers go out in this draft and draft fucking have to draft O line. 5 freaking O linemen we get out of the draft. Now they're going back to the 49ers. They're getting put into the hands of Chris Forrester, who has yet to develop any of the O linemen that we have already drafted, except for Aaron Banks. Trent Williams is already Trent Williams, like the centers, we keep getting centers from elsewhere, Alex Mack, and so what is he doing? We're continuously seeing our O line play like shit, dating all the way back to Mike McGlinchey, all these guys that we keep moving in and out, in and out, in and out. And yet we keep saying the O line shit, we need to draft O line. The O line shit, we need to draft O line. We need to protect our quarterback. When do we ever start putting blame on the O line coach that's been there the entire time and has been one of the only pieces that hasn't been moved in and out? Like he hasn't got a job and promoted anywhere else. He got fired from his last job for freaking sniffing cocaine during the fucking after the games and shit, and it's just like, at what point are we going to start looking towards the O-line coach that maybe he's not doing what he needs to do? Like the offense, you had so much fucking talent on the offense. And like you said, putting up 30 points a game. And then all of a sudden, we have games that completely turns to shit. And that's from the O-line, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, the fucking quarterback, all throughout the offense. Like when do we start making changes to that? It's the defense. Oh, you get fired. It's so easy to put the blame on the defense because Kyle is not the defense. When does Kyle look at inward at his own people, at his own staff, on his own side of the fucking ball and make some changes there? Because it can't be, we can't draft 13, 14, 15 fucking O-line players and only one works out and we keep blaming the players.
Exactly.
Something's not making sense here.
Hmm.
So when
Yeah.
are we going to start looking towards fucking the cokehead Forrester, and maybe he's not fucking doing what he needs to do?
Yeah. Him. Forrester and offensive linemen are like Kyle and third round running backs. He don't know what he's doing. Like here's what I'll say though. At least with Banks, he was projected to go, in the first two rounds. You look at the Spencer Burfors, who I still got promise for. I just think I don't know what happened to him. He took 10 steps back this year from what he had his rookie season. Then you have the Colton McKivitzes, the Nick Zakelges. Who was that guy? I mean, I know he came in as a free agent, but who was that offensive lineman that we had that you loved? And I don't think he's with us anymore. He was really, I think he's with the Jets now. He was really short. He was a
Oh
interior
yeah.
lineman.
Um,
And he's really athletic too. Like he could have probably played tight end, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
But anyway, so you have all these linemen, and the difference I see between those linemen and Aaron Banks is Aaron Banks was actually, a second round pick who had promise of actually being a starting caliber. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Like he
And
could have
we've
been a
said
starter with or without his O line coach in the NFL.
yes, exactly, exactly. So you look at that, and then and that's the thing with them. I can't remember what year it is, the year it was, but I'll never forget. We drafted Anthony Davis and Mike Yapati. Wasn't sexy. People complain, oh, what about this receiver? What about this, and that? But you know what? They helped us with Frank Gore in that run game. They helped us. That running game was amazing. So now's the time where you stop messing around and get yourself a first round running back. I mean, first round offensive lineman, and stop messing around. Stop trying to draft these fifth and sixth rounders thinking that they're going to be starting in the next season. They're probably backups at best. And that's what the issue is. Like I think Kyle and John got too much confidence in Chris Forrester to take a fifth or sixth round offensive guard and tackle and develop them into a starter. You can't do that. Like start using your higher draft picks. Like we said, somebody brought up Lake and Tomlinson. We said drafted, not traded for. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think
me,
yeah,
me and
he was
Mariah, and
he was
he,
saying
he
that
was
the
traded for.
guy. Yeah, but when you were asking me the guy that I liked and we couldn't remember his
No, it
name,
wasn't
he was
Lake and
asking if that
Tomlinson.
was Lakin. That's
Oh no,
why
I
he
thought
was
he was
brought up
saying like
Lakin.
we didn't develop them. So you got
Mm-mm.
Lake and Tomlinson, we traded for. Trent Williams, we traded for. Weston Richburg, free agent. Alex Mack, free agent. Like we're never developing these offensive linemen. We have a first round pick and a second round pick. If you use both of those picks on offensive linemen, I'm not gonna cry about it. We need some good quality offensive line going forward. It's a passing league, and you need your quarterback to have time in that pocket to throw the football. Plain and simple. Stop drafting. Like me and Mariah joke around, but it's not far from the truth. First round pick. Oh, let me go ahead and give me another D tackle or DN. Like no, like stop with that. Go ahead and get this offensive lineman. Like, and or if you're not going to
Okay.
use or if you're not going to use your, top two picks on linemen, at least bring in one in the first or second round and bring you a quality vet like you've always done. Me and you said this before, like, last year offensive line played
I'll be
pretty
right back.
solid. Yeah, played pretty solid. But then you get, the Lake and Tomlinsons who I was like banging the table for, like, man, why don't we keep him and move Banks to right guard? Oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. This and that. That's what we should have done. But I don't know. Hopefully, what do you guys think in the chat? Because I feel like offensive lineman has been a hindrance to us for a few years now. Like that left side is always strong, but we always struggle on that right side. When we had Trent Williams and Laken Tomlinson, it was good. When we had Joe Staley and Laken Tomlinson was good, but that center spot and that right side has always been an issue after since Alex Mack has left. So yeah, I was just finishing up what I was saying about the offensive line. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But you're right about Chris Forrester. But give him some better tools. Like I said, I'm tired of drafting these offensive linemen who are projects. Like to me, you read the stuff on these offensive linemen, and all of them were always saying like, oh, this offensive lineman is a projected backup, projected backup. It's this and that. Colton McKivitz, Nick Sakel. Nick Sakel was supposed to be a sixth round pick. We picked him in the fourth. So
Hmm.
are we reaching? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but you're right,
And not
Mariah. To
only
make a long
that, we draft him at one position and try to make him a fucking different
and that
position.
and
So
that's another issue. It's like Spencer Burford. When I saw him in college, he played right and left tackle. He was a natural tackle, and I was like, oh, go ahead and throw him in at guard. I thought we were done with all that stuff. Like you draft
Mhm.
somebody because you saw they were special at one position, and then you're like, oh no, let me go ahead and change them to this, which I think is a bad idea.
I agree. Let's do our halfway point giveaway. So those that are here, go ahead and get your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100. We're doing Frank Gore, Nick Bosa, and Ayuk right now.
All right,
We
let me get
got
these.
this Frank Gore, Thunder Lane. Frank's looking thick. Look at him. He's a thickum.
I think 'em.
Thickum.
Love me some Frank Gore.
We got Bosa, Lockdown, which both actually had a good game. Like he didn't get sacks, but
Hmm.
like I read something that his pressures were crazy.
Yeah, and
And
it's funny
then
about
Ayuk
you. Okay,
wide open.
always.
So get your numbers in 1 through 100. No duplicates. Good luck.
Yeah.
We'll give you
That
guys
man
a
is
couple
never
minutes.
covered. Ayuk is never covered. That's how I see it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into. Actually, let's start talking about Ayuk. Man, the pressers. First of all, Ayuk, for him to be in his presser and just get choked up so bad that he has to stop, like say, okay, that's it, because he's literally crying underneath his glasses, like just completely broke my heart. Um, Obviously, those that have seen, maybe some haven't, I don't know, but um, Ayuk's girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever, baby mama, like the day after the game, puts out, like a TikTok saying that that might be her and their son's last time on Levi's field because they might not be back next season.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was the first thing that came out. And then Brandon Ayuk's best friend puts out some messages on his social media that says, this is the exact reason why we're leaving San Francisco. Thank you, 49ers, for drafting my brother. We are forever grateful. BA to Vegas.
Mm.
It also says, why does your all pro 1,300-yard receiver have 3 catches in the Super Bowl? Brandon Ayuk also put out something on his social media that said, don't forget what got you there. So we know that Brandon Ayuk should be in contract talks with the 49ers this offseason. They did pick up his 5th-year option.
He did.
He is on his first 5th-year option this coming up season.
Hmm.
So unless the 49ers were to trade him or cut him, he's not fucking going to the Raiders or any other shitty team because he's still under contract. So his baby mama might not know how contracts work. But yeah, his friend / brother to say BA to Vegas. Now you're complaining that Brandon Ayuk didn't get used enough in the Super Bowl, which I agree.
Hmm.
Brandon Ayuk in his presser says he wants to come back to San Francisco, like if it makes sense. They ask him, well, what's making sense? And he says, if we're champions. Well, going to the Raiders would be one of the last places I would go if you're planning on becoming a world champion.
Hmm.
So I found it very interesting that you're all in your brother's best friend's business to put it out there on social media that, he needs to leave the 49ers, but you don't obviously have his best interest in heart because you're trying to send him to a dumpster fire
Hmm.
where he's not going to have that many targets in a game and he's not going to be winning a championship. So, like, if I was BA, the only place you're trading me or that I'm asking out to is to fucking Kansas City. Like, they need wide receivers If you want to go be a number one wide receiver and be the star, like you should be,
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
like you can be, get me to Kansas City where they have no wide receivers. Don't get me to the Raiders where they have no quarterback and Devontae Adams already. Like, you think they're going to give you the bag after they already gave it to Devontae Adams, and you're going to get the catches over Devontae Adams, and you're going to get the Super Bowl with no fucking quarterback? So I found that quite hilarious. But you guys know, like, there's been so much Ayuk slander the last few days. I will not put up with no fucking Ayuk slander. This, people are pissed. Oh, if he don't want to be here, get him the fuck out of here. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I'm not for players, which he didn't ask for a trade. Let's make that very clear. We have wide receivers on this team that have asked for fucking trades and are still here. And I'm all for it. You asked for a trade, get the fuck out of here. You don't want to be here, bye. But the world that we're in right now, today's day and age, the social media error, whatever, that's not the way it works. Like, we're going to continuously see this where players are getting on social media, scrubbing their social media, putting out content, like these random tweets that, like, we're guessing, okay, is this about the 49ers? Is this about love? Is this about the homies? Like all this shit that we're trying to figure out. Their family's going to be coming out and saying something, because that's the only way these players get to say something these days. They don't get to get up there in a press conference and say what they really feel. They have to get up there and give these boring ass fucking, PG fucking rated answers that they're already being told what to say before they even get up there. They don't get to get up there and actually say what's on their minds, because then the media, the world, everybody's fucking canceling them. So this is their only way they get to say anything. Their only way to have anything to get at during contract negotiations.
Their friends and family.
Yeah. So it's like, if you think that, Debo was going to be the first and last one that we saw do that, it's not. And it's not just happening with the 49ers. We're seeing this happen across the league, especially with the wide receivers, who we know have been labeled divas for the last 60 fucking years of the NFL. It didn't just stop. Like, they're all that. They all want to be the guy. They all know what they're capable of. Like I said, Brandon Ayuk knows he can be a fucking superstar. And he's on a team that he's being, he had 1,300 yards, but as the fourth fucking option. Imagine what he would do as the first option. He had like 40, 50, 60 less catches than the other wide receivers that he's in the same brackets with.
Yeah.
So imagine what he's doing with 90, 100, whatever fucking catches a season. Last call, get your numbers in. We're about to do the giveaway. Gore, Bosa, Ayuk. Go ahead, Tia.
Yeah.
What's up, Dion? Wait. Before you go, let me say what's up to some people. We got Dion in the house. What's up, Dion? Edgard, what's good? Lo, what's up, Lo? Jim, I know you're in here talking shit, but you're still here bringing the views, so we appreciate you. What's up, Jim? 49ers girl. What's up, Keisha? I had seen some more homies up here. Jason, what's good, Jason? Last call, you guys. Get your numbers in. We're about to draw the winners for the halfway point. I know I saw Vito that you came back. Welcome back. BC, what's up, Bryant? David McNiner, what's good? And I think that was everyone. If I missed you, I apologize. What's up? Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. Last call, we're about to draw the giveaway winners. TL, thoughts on Ayuk?
Man, it's hard to top what you just said, but yeah, no, I just think, when it comes down to it, I never played receiver. That wasn't my position, but all receivers I know want the football, plain and simple. They want to showcase their skills. I mean, you look at somebody like a Brandon Ayuk. You said it 30, 40 less catches than like a CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and yet pretty similar when it comes to yards and touchdowns. So that just shows you that he's that type of receiver. He wants to be out there. I mean, and for him to not even make the Pro Bowl is shameful. He's looking at it as like, man, like And I know your ultimate goal is the Super Bowl, but let's just be honest here. These players want their money. You're missing out on bonuses. You're missing out on the stuff like that because you're not getting the ball, which you feel suit that you need to get because it's going to put you in that conversation of one of the best receivers. You put him on a
Mhm.
team where he's the number one option, and I would hate to see it, but like you put him on somebody like the Houston Texans with a CJ Stroud, and he's the number one. He's cooking people. Like he's going to be one of he'll be mentioned in the top 5 receivers
Mhm.
in the NFL. Like you said, he's a third and fourth option on this football team, and yet he puts up, other than CMC, puts up the best numbers. So at the same time, it's we talked about this last year, Mariah, how it's like, it's gonna be tough because, you got what I think Debo making 23 million a year. Ayuk to me is a better receiver. He needs to get more. And I don't it's rare you see a team with two receivers getting paid over $20 million. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see what happens, and I will say this. Hopefully he gets it. I'm sick of the holdouts. We saw it with the Kittles, we saw it with the Warners, the Debos, the Bosas. And with this receiver class, the one he came into have all been great. Like except for a couple of them, like the Jalen Ragers or the haven't been great. But then you have like the T Higginses, you have the Justin Jeffersons, the CeeDee Lambs. These dudes are going to want to get paid. So I hope you guys make a move as early as possible and get this man paid, because if Justin Jefferson gets his contract
Yeah.
before Ayuk, you're in trouble. Because Brandon Ayuk's gonna say, "Oh, Justin Jefferson got almost 30 million. Well, I want at least 26, 27." And that's going to be hard because now you have all these other players that you have to deal with. So, yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, like you said, these players can't go up there and just say, "Hey, I want out of here. I want more targets." So they use family, friends, stuff like that to kind of put stuff out there to let the team know. I'm not saying it, but people in my circle are. So just know, if you're not going to give me my money, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? So, and I get it. He has to stay under contract unless he holds out. He's going to be on this team at least for another year unless he's traded. But you said it. You hit the nail on the head, Mariah. You finally got your receiver. You tried it with the Jalen Hurd. You tried it with the Dante Pettises of the world. It didn't work out. You finally get you in a receiver who you groomed. You know, taught him. Made him a great blocker, whatever the case may be, and then you're gonna let him leave. That's crazy.
Mhm.
And I've said it before. It's a rare case where you lose a Stephon Diggs to a team, and then the very next year you replace him with a receiver that's even better in Justin Jefferson. So 49ers, let's get it done. Let's keep this man in the Bay Area. He's, from after that second year, he was supposedly in the doghouse or whatever the case may be, but the man's performed. He's other than CMC, I don't care what nobody says. He's the best weapon on this team. And I'm gonna put this out there. If I had to keep one of Debo and Ayuk, I'm keeping Ayuk. Period.
Yeah, we're
So
about to
that's what I got to say.
talk about Debo in a little bit, and
Yep.
my thoughts exactly. Let's draw these winners. I'm drawing Frank Gore, then Bosa, then Ayuk. Let's go. Good luck, everybody. All right. Gore,
Ooh.
16. I got my dog here with me doing giveaways. That's why I had to leave to go get him water, and then he's still there freaking crying. I'm like, get your ass over here. Bosa, 65.
Okay.
And Ayuk, 64. Looks
Dang.
like somebody gonna get Bosa and
It,
Ayuk.
it looks like it. Let's see. All right, let
Let's
me
see
scroll
who
down and
those
check these
winners are.
numbers.
I think there's probably a big group of us that feel that same way, especially how Debo's looked after signing his contract. But we're definitely going to get into Debo in a minute.
Okay.
And then those that weren't here earlier, to end the show, we're doing this Ayuk rookie jersey card and Tayshawn Gibson numbered So that's what we're closing the show with. So make sure you guys stick around or come back through.
Okay, so for the gore, we have the winner. We have two that are close, but this person stayed under the number at a number 11. So Carcast wins the gore card.
Carcast, congrats.
I gotta figure out these two. Let me see.
Gets Frank Gore. I know, Meg. He used to be like one of my top guys too, but this last 2 seasons after the whole contract thing, and then we know the first season after that was shit. And then he's like, I'm gonna come back and be better this year. And it's like I just feel like we can't depend on him in the biggest games when we need him the most because he's either getting hurt or, something's freaking going on.
And looks like Dawn is the winner of both the Bosa and the Ayuk.
Dawn. She must have guessed the same number both times because the first giveaway to open the show, she won Kittle that was 63. Now she won both of these 64 and 65.
Yeah, she picked number 70.
Okay. That number's working for you, Don. So Don gets the Brandon Ayuk wide open and lockdown Bosa. Congrats. Let me put these in Don's bag over here. So yeah, I mean, like in this game, it like pissed me off because you keep going to Debo. He's not fucking catching shit. And then he's hurt. He's crying on the sidelines. He's coming back in, not catching shit again, going back out, crying, coming back in, dropping the ball again. Like they had him locked down the entire fucking game, and yet you're still going to him. He's not creating any separation.
None.
And, it's like Purdy has no fucking time to throw. And so he's trying to throw it to his fucking playmaker that should, I was expecting to go. If Debo would have put this game on his shoulders like he did that season before his fucking contract year, we would have won this fucking Super Bowl. Regardless of the defense, of this, of the fumble, of all this other shit going wrong. Had Debo came out and put that fucking team on his back and had a 150-yard fucking game, 3-touchdown game, like he turned up for the Eagles, had he turned up that same way for the fucking Super Bowl, we would have won. Like we don't get that performance from Debo anymore. Debo had 3 catches on 11 targets in the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
3 catches for 33 yards on 11 targets in the Super Bowl. From your wide receiver that's paid to be your number 1 fucking guy. You can't have that. That's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. And It's just like, since he got paid, he's just not dependable. We can't count on him. He's fucking hurt. Like I understand you can't control injuries, but we can't keep paying somebody that's always fucking hurt and not coming out. And, you need your biggest stars to rise to the fucking occasion in your biggest games. And he didn't do that. And he hasn't been doing that since he got paid. I said, he came in like that Eagles game was the most important game to him this entire fucking season, including the playoffs, the Super Bowl, fucking everything. As long as he came out and showed that he could beat the fucking Eagles and beat all those players that he's been beefing with on freaking social media all off season, that was like the Super Bowl. I haven't seen him turn up like that since. So if you're asking me, when it comes to if you're paying a guy like Brandon Ayuk, or you're going to keep an aging, hurting Debo Samuel that can only run 3 routes, and every time he's in the backfield now, he gets fucking, they know what's coming. Like he gets eaten up every single time he's in the fucking backfield. So none of that running shit works anymore. You can only run a couple routes and you're getting locked up the entire Super Bowl. And then you're getting hurt the other half of the time and dropping every ball that hits you in your hands. but yet we're going to give away, let our number one wide receiver go because we're paying Debo. Like, if you can't pay both of them, and it's my team, I'm trading Debo.
Thank you. Yeah, plain and simple. We've always said it. Ayuk, may not be the better weapon with the ball in his hand because Debo's explosive when he gets the ball and physical. But you're right. It's like you have to talk. You have to be a player that talks trash to Debo to get him fired up. Like you said, he was beefing with all these Eagles players, going back and forth on Twitter, social media, all this other stuff. I was like, oh, okay, you want to see? I'm going to prove to you that I'm going to go out there and take care of business. But where was that
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs? Where was that in the other games? Like I said, I love me some Debo. When he's on, he's on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But it's like, man, like we need you consistently. Like, how hungry are you to be able to win a Super Bowl if you're not going out there doing your thing? And we got Gina asking a question. Why wouldn't you blame the coach? Debo's his route running was exposed. Can't create any kind of separation. Like you said, he's only good like on slants and stuff like that. But when you try when he has to have a full arsenal of routes that he has to run to get open, he can't do it.
Mm-mm.
So you have to get him the ball like in space. You throw him a screen or get him somewhere out of the backfield for him to get comfortable. So when he gets a full head of steam, then that's when he's in his bag. But his route running was exposed. What he said, 11 targets, only 11 targets and 3 catches. That's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. So yeah, this is just it's one of those things where and I'm not saying he doesn't have heart because when he goes out there, he does it. But I don't see the same passion that he had that season where he put the team on his back when
When
Debo
you're
was just
playing for a paycheck.
unstoppable. Yeah, and I just don't like that. It's just so yeah. I don't know. Something's gonna have to give. I mean, I don't know if IU's going to be just that guy. It's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead because remember, Debo only signed a 3-year deal. So maybe their plan is to let this season 24-25 season play out. Debo will be a free agent. Then they're going to pay Ayuk. However, I don't know if Ayuk is going to go for that because then it's
I
one of
don't
those
think
things.
so.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go for that because it's going to be one of those things where it's like, well, what if I get hurt and now my money is done when I've been the most consistent receiver on this team since you drafted
Mm-hmm.
me? So yeah, something's going to have to give. So I don't know. Like I
This
said, I'm
year,
not. I'm. Mhm,
2024 season, Debo's
mhm.
cap hit is 28.6 million.
Mm, yeah.
He's number 2 on the team behind Trent Williams at 31.5.
Wow.
Is he
See,
playing
yeah.
like the number 2 cap hit on the team? Because I sure in the hell don't fucking think
Mm.
so.
And it's funny too because and I'm not saying like I said, I'm not saying here crapping on Debo. He's a great weapon,
Oh
but
yeah.
I like me, you and I had mentioned before, like when him and Trent were out during those games against the Browns, Vikings, and the Bengals, it showed that he's needed because even though he's not the best wide receiver, he's still a great weapon that you still have to
Mhm.
account for him. So the fact that he wasn't on the field, it helps. Don't get me wrong. When he's not on the field, it makes people's jobs harder. But at the same time, if you're that dog that we know that you can be it consistently. Be the dog that you know you can be against the Eagles, like you were in that 2020 season or whatever the case may be. When you went out there, 2021 season, when you were out there and you were just balling and uh,
And that's
people
the
were scared.
thing.
People were scared to tackle you. Like you were like, I mean, what was it? What game were we playing? Oh, that Rams game when he was no, it was a Cowboys game in the playoffs. He was like, "Give me the ball, I'm gonna score."
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
went out there, he got the ball from like the 25, 30-yard line, and he scored. We need that mentality every single week, not when you want to. You sound like Moss. I play when I want to.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like that's the thing is that because we know what he's capable of.
Hmm.
So when you're going out there and half your routes, you're half-assing it if the ball's not coming your way, you stop blocking partway through your assignment, like all this shit that shows on tape. Like you're being paid as the guy and you're not acting like the guy. Like we paid him, well, not we, but you know what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
49ers paid him that year because he wanted to be paid as a running back and a wide receiver. Well, we haven't seen him be one or the other or both since he got paid. Like you
Yeah.
can't show up as a number one wide receiver. You don't show up as a number one running back, and you're sure in the fuck not showing up as a number one wide out weapon or whatever that you're
Wide
capable of
back, you
doing.
want to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what you're being paid for. That's why you're making all this fucking money. not to be showing up as a freaking 500-yard fucking receiver. Like, we can go pay another receiver freaking $2 million to be that.
Get the same production. Yep.
You're being paid to be that dominant weapon that we know you're capable of, and you're not showing up doing that. And that's what pisses me off the most.
Yep.
Because you're expecting all your teammates to show up and give 110% and give their heart out and play in and play out and win the fucking Super Bowl when you're coming in getting paid top fucking dollar and you're playing 50% of what you're fucking capable of. And now we have to let go of our stars because you have to keep getting paid for what?
Yeah.
You know, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Changes have to come. Changes have to be made to this team. We're not winning the Super Bowl like this. We just saw that. So we have to get better to beat Kansas City. So, you know, they're going to have to part with some of the players that, are in our hearts. But in our hearts and holding a trophy are way two different fucking things, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, George Kittle, you know, we're going to have to start having that uncomfortable conversation. Like, yeah, he's playing great, but he's getting old. Now he just hurt himself in this freaking last game. He's going to need surgery. You know, like Eric Armstead, he has to have fucking surgery, has a torn labrum that he's been playing with in his knee. It's like all of our older favorite guys that have been a part of this team for so long.
Wrong side of 30.
Have to be made. We can't fucking pay everybody. You can't keep players that are fucking 40 years old playing on the team because it's going to hurt our feelings that they get rid of them. Like,
and then with and then with Brock Purdy too, you know, you look at him, you know, him being a 7th-round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, he only got signed to a 3-year deal. So after this year, you got to start having conversations about, you know, is he the future of this team, and you know, what is he going to be paid like? So, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna be some uncomfortable conversations. But I'd rather get rid of a guy a year early than a year too late. You know what I mean? So, like you said, the Kittles, the Eric Armsteads, the Trent Williams, we're blessed that Trent Williams said he's gonna come back for the 2024 season. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I don't know. But you're right, Mariah. I mean, like I said, Debo, we know you have it in you, and that's like you said, that's what sucks the most. We know you have it in you. Like, you're in the Super Bowl. Where's that dog in you? Where's that give me the ball, I'm gonna score mentality? Because I didn't see it. And then, you know, so yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and, you know, whatever thoughts you have that you want to get out on the Super Bowl loss. Like, I was sitting through parts of that game and just thought to myself, like, is this deja vu? Like, are we fucking doing this all over again?
10-point lead.
Team, the lead, gonna come back. You know, once I saw them, you know, the first half, I'm like, okay, they're playing good. But I'm thinking, you're going into halftime. We know that the 49ers usually come out of the half, and that's when they light on fire. I'm like, if we get that 49ers team that comes out of the half and plays like that, we got this. But if they come out and give Mahomes, like, you've already given him so many chances through the first half. I'm like, if you come out of the half and keep giving them those chances, sooner or later, they're going to start taking them. You come out of the half, you throw 3 times, 3 and out. You come out after that, you throw 3 times, 3 and out. You come after that, you throw 2 times and run once, 3 and out. I'm like, game's over. Offensive player of the year on the team. You come out of the half and he touches the ball 1 time in 3 fucking possessions of 3 and outs.
Yep.
I'm like, that's it.
Yeah. And like Dion, well, like what he said, it's like, you know, and you and I think had this conversation too. It's like, you know, you look at the teams. Obviously, we don't have the better quarterback, but as a team, as a 53-man roster, I like our team better. I like our team better. And the fact that you hit it, like, you know, you sit there and you got the offensive player of the year who set records for touchdowns in multiple games consecutively, and that you go 3 and out 3 consecutive times, and yet he touches the ball once. Like, why do you get in your own head, Kyle? That's what pisses me off about Kyle. He doesn't go with his bread and butter, and maybe that's what Ayuk was talking about. Why go away with what got you there?
That is.
Yeah, like, you got there by using CMC, you know, 65% of the time on offense, and then now you go away with it. Same thing in 2019, Raheem Mostert doesn't touch the ball. It's like, come on, Kyle. Like, why do you not stick to what got you there and stick to your game plan? There is no way I'm doing 9 plays, consecutive plays, and CMC only touched the ball one time. And if they're stopping him behind the line of scrimmage, because I heard our sophomore what he only averaged 3.6 yards a clip. Okay, well put him out in space, put him in the
Mhm.
slot, put him like use him differently because you
Yeah,
know you can. Like,
exactly.
make a linebacker have to go out there and guard him, and that's not gonna happen. CMC is gonna cook him every time. You know, Juwan Jennings, shout out to that guy.
Whew,
Juwan Jennings, man, and I know we didn't win, but if we would have won, he should have earned the
MVP.
MVP.
Yep.
Because that man, I mean, he against the Lions, against the Packers, he showed out in his playoffs.
He earned himself a
He
paycheck, let
now
me tell
now
you that.
now now he's a receiver you better not let walk. Because people are gonna be chomping at the bit for that dude. Free agent. He's a free agent. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, come on, Kyle. And that's why I blame Kyle too. That's why I hate that he gets such a pass because it's like, dude, like you get in your own head and you get too cute out there where you think you're the smartest man in the room, and then it comes back to bite you in the tail because you out cute your own self, which is crazy. Like, and then, like I said, and that's maybe why Brandon Ayuk said what he said, and then yeah, and I'm sure, like, and if I'm sorry, like, you got players, and I know players are scared to like open their mouths and stuff. I'm telling, I don't care what Travis Kelsey did to Andy Reid.
Mhm.
I'm going, Kyle, what are you doing, man? We got CMC right here. He touched the ball once. What are you thinking? I don't care if you get pissed off at me. Because the simple fact is, everybody on the sideline should be saying that. Get this man out in space if they're only giving him 3 yards a clip. Like, do something different. You're supposed to be the offensive genius. Well, then act like it. And that's why, and I listened to Ryan Hensley's show with Jesse, and he made a good point. Kyle is a expert genius when it comes to offensive schemes. But as a play caller, he's not as good as people say because he doesn't call the play at the right time, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. And I agree with that. Like, so I can sit there and be a genius and be like, oh, this guy's gonna be open, this guy's gonna be open, this guy's gonna be open. But if you're not utilizing that in the correct situations, and that's why I said, people want to say, oh, Kyle's an offensive genius, whatever. Okay, cool. Yeah, he is top five. He's top three probably. But even somebody like Andy Reid has an offensive coordinator.
Mhm.
I think somebody like Kyle just needs to go ahead and just say, you know what, just go ahead and hire yourself an offensive coordinator so you can focus on the coaching aspect more. Andy Reid is not too arrogant to be like, oh, I don't need nobody to be my offensive play caller. Like Kyle, it's okay. So yeah, that's what frustrates me the most about Kyle. Like, and I don't care. You sit there and you want to say, oh, he gets us there. Oh, and what I will say too, there's a couple comments that were made that pissed me off too. And we can talk about this and bring this up. For Kyle to sit there and say, I got the ball because I wanted to go out there and score a touchdown and not give Patrick Mahomes the ability to come back and score, like our boy government likes to say on spaces, that's organizational malpractice. You should have known the OT rules in the Super Bowl. You're the head coach. You should understand what's going on. I'm not saying that him make
Well,
was a
Kyle
wrong call.
said that they received the ball first because he wanted the third possession.
Well, he
He
changed his
didn't say
stance
that.
twice. He changed his stance twice because he said that, and there was a recording that I heard, and he said he didn't want to give Patrick. He said he wanted to go in there. His intention was to score a touchdown and not give Patrick Mahomes a second chance to get the ball. So he's all over the place right now. And then when Jed York, the owner, who was when he was a kid, because he's my age, has saw greatness with this organization, saw you go 5-0 in Super Bowl appearances. For you to say, "Oh, even though we didn't win a Super Bowl, it's still a successful season." Nah, man. I ain't feeling that. You're the owner of this team. If you're just happy, I'm sick of NFC championship trophies. I'm sick of just,
Mhm.
well, we're almost there. Or I'm sick of well, we'll get there next year. You should be sick of that as an owner. So that right there, those kind of comments and stuff is a loser mentality. So yeah, that's what I have to say about this Super Bowl as well. Now you can go ahead. He's already done the Steve Wilkes stuff. He had his moments too where he made some mistakes and stuff, but I feel like he didn't make mistakes until probably like maybe like the fourth quarter. But like I said, and you said it, a touchdown wasn't scored until 3 minutes left into the third quarter, and it was only because of a muffed punt. Defense was playing well. They had 6 points with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. So to sit there and these fans want to, oh, the defense, the deep, nah, I can't ride with that because the defense did their job. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yeah, those are the things that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I see, a couple of you guys bringing up Kyle and his accountability. And, it's crazy that we used to all like gripe and bitch and complain about Jimmy Garoppolo never taking accountability
Mhm.
for nothing. you know, now we have a quarterback that gets up there and takes accountability for everything, even the
Yes.
shit that ain't his fault. And yet
Yep.
our head coach sits up there and just says, oh, I didn't think, what's looking back on everything, I didn't think, I made any bad decisions. Like,
Yeah.
and I was listening to this was, months back, whatever. I was listening to this Rams thing, and Sean McVay was talking and they were showing clips of his presser and whatever. And the first thing after a loss that he gets up there and says, it's my fault first. I'm the head coach. I take the blame before anybody else. Like if those guys aren't prepared, it's my fault. If they're not ready to play, if they're not playing their best, that's my fault. It starts with me. I'm the leader. I've never heard Kyle Shanahan get up there and say shit like that.
No.
It's, oh, I gotta watch the tape. Oh, well, he always has an excuse for everything. Nothing's ever his fault. And it's just like, and like I'd say, like, oh, you I don't know. Like, I'm not to the point where, oh, fire Kyle. Like, none of this by any means is any of that. But like I said with the whole Debo, like the team needs to get better. Like Kyle needs to grow and get better. Or else, this of what they're saying, oh, he can't win the big one, is gonna stay true. You have to fucking get better. You have to grow. In order to do that, you have to know what you're doing wrong and be able to get past, learn from your fucking mistakes. If you think you're never making any mistakes, how are you fucking learning and growing and getting better?
Yeah.
So everybody else on the team, John, Jed, all the players, all the other coaches, they all have to take accountability. They all have to change.
That's funny. But yeah, I think Mariah had to mute herself. But yeah, no, she's absolutely right. Like I think the only thing I've heard Kyle take accountability for was the Trey Lance situation when he was just like, yeah, that was a quarterback that we had that we thought was going to be the man, but we decided to move off elsewhere. That's my fault. Like I heard him take accountability for that, but other than that, never really heard him take accountability for anything. And that's not the qualities of a great leader.
Yeah, it's like everybody else is supposed to get better, but the head coach is just going to stay the same and keep doing what he's done, what he always does. Okay, like then we're going to continue being in the same place that we've always been in. Like I don't I don't know. Something has to
Yeah.
change. I mean, Kyle, he has to start with himself. You have to look inward and start with yourself as a leader. And that's of anything. A
Yeah.
leader at any job, at anything. Anything you fucking do in life. Like, and yet the head coach of a football team just going to get up there and say, "Oh no, we should have won, but
Mhm. So
but
it's funny. So, I told you that I made a career change a while back. So now I'm a youth counselor at a detention center. So, I deal with these kids ages like 13 to 17 and stuff. And, when they're transitioning of getting out, we do like, mock interviews, stuff like the ones who are of age to get jobs and stuff. So when they get out, learn how to get jobs and stuff like that. And I asked one of them last week and I was like, tell me your weaknesses. She said, I don't have any. And I said, nuh-uh. I go, that's wrong. I go, they're not going to want to hear that when you're interviewing. You got to think about something because if you don't tell them that you have something that you need that you're not good at, they're going to think that you feel like you're perfect. And I go, and it's okay to say something that you need to be worked on. If you say this is my weakness, this is a negative about me, it's okay. People want to hear the truth. So it's okay to think that she thought her saying I don't have one was going to be a good answer. And I was
mhm.
like, no, it's not a good answer. You have to tell them something. So with Kyle, like it's okay, Kyle. You can go up there. You'll get, and I know I get a lot of people respect Kyle, but I hate that the fact that sometimes these fans feel like he's above reproach, where they can't. criticize Kyle or nothing like that. Like, they got their head so far in his lap that they think like, oh, Kyle can't do no wrong. No, he can. But it's okay because we're all human. And it's okay to sit up there and say, you know what, it's on me. Like you said, do I think he's a better coach than Sean McVay? Yes. Do I think he's a better coach than lot of these other guys? Absolutely. But it's okay to point the finger at yourself and say, this is what I need to do to be better. And that's what something about Kyle that irks me, that you need to grow as a leader. Like, something that you should like, you're not a baby anymore. This ain't 2017, 2018 when you're a first, second year coach. You're going on 7 years. Now it's time to grow up, get yourself better, and do something. And then take accountability for stuff that didn't happen on the field. Like, if you when I think Grant asked him a question when he was like, hey Kyle, on that 3 and out, those 3 consecutive 3 and outs, why didn't you give Seams the ball? Well, plays are different. Well, no, well, of course we know that. Like, that's a cop out for an answer, honestly. Like, come on, man. Like, that's something that like something I would expect a kid to say. You know what I mean? But you're a grown man. You're 44, 45 years old. Well, plays are different. We all know that, Kyle. But why didn't you say X, Y, and Z? Well, this is what I saw on the defense. This is what I saw. So I thought me throwing the ball more would execute and explore a weakness, but it didn't work. That's on me, and that's okay.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Kyle, when you have the parents, they're always trying to, they can't be a parent because they're trying to be the best friend of the kid instead. Like, that's Kyle. Like, he wants to be everybody on the team's best friend. We're gonna go to Cabo, we're gonna vacation together, we're homies. You come in like we're talking about all this about Debo, but like that's Kyle's like best friend. Like, they have office meetings together every single day. They talk about everything. Like I I don't know, like, you're just too busy trying to be a freaking buddy. And how are you supposed to tell the players then when they're doing something wrong, or, all this other shit? And like Alberto says, like, the players themselves should be able to go up to Kyle and say stuff. And, like, does any of that get to happen? Like, I don't know. And it's, you look and it's just like, okay, you go to back to the thing. Okay, well, if you do get rid of Kyle, then who do you replace him with? Okay, well, there's nobody out there to replace him with, so we'll just stick with Kyle. And back to, I'm not saying he needs to get fired yet, but if something don't change, like, when does that conversation come up? Like, he's just supposed to be the coach for the next 30 years, and we're going to just keep getting to the NFC championship, to the Super Bowl losing, to the NFC championship, to the Super Bowl losing, the same cycle. Like, even Andy Reid had to get fired from Philly because he couldn't win the big one. And until he went to Kansas City and got Mahomes, and now all of a sudden he's the winner. Like,
That's
sometimes
a
changes
great
have to
point.
be made.
That's funny you say that too, because I hate the fact that people will say, we got to be patient. Look at Andy Reid, took him 15 years. I don't care. Kyle's not Andy Reid. Why does his situation have to be like Andy Reid's? Like, why I don't want to wait no 15 years. That's crazy to me. I've already been waiting since 1995. So why do I need to continue to be patient and wait? Well, this isn't that. And then we're on Spaces the other day, and somebody said,
Well, not too
oh,
much.
well, Kyle should do this and shoot that, and we need to be patient as fans. And I asked him, I go, well, at what point should we start getting to the point where we're like, hey, NFC championships and losing Super Bowls isn't enough? And they're like, well, I think as long as we're in it every year, we should be okay with that. Wrong answer. Like, I ain't feeling that. Like, so there's too much of the fan base who, like I said, who want to coddle Kyle, who want to, thinks he's above reproach, and are scared to say it's okay. Like, that there needs to be changes, man. And like me and Mariah and I are saying, we're not saying to fire this man. But at the same time, at some point, you got to start getting fed up, because when you start talking about the bring it back, the run it back, run it back, run it back, running it back to what? To losing? Because that's what's happening. You're muted, Mariah.
Oops. This was my next thing to go to was, after all the, sadness and pissed off and whatever feelings you're feeling, about the Super Bowl. Like, the thing that hurts me the most above it all is freaking Greenlaw tearing his fucking Achilles. Like, and it's such a crazy thing to just be running out into the field. And as soon as he fell like that and went down to pain, I'm like, that's it. That's fucking it. And that injury, is such a crazy injury in sports to come back from. And then to get it so far into this, in the Super Bowl, like a year recovery time from the Super Bowl is it's like we can't expect him to even be back for next season. And that's fucking sick. Like that makes me disgusted. Like to think, like up to this point, we had the best two linebackers in football, and to lose one just like that, man, it fucking hurts. It hurts. Like even just watching the video of when it happened, and like you're seeing Mahomes all the way on the other side of the field. And he's like, fuck, 57 just went down, like sees him running onto the field and freaking get hurt. Like, and you hear like, you heard Fred just scream like, no, because he's like running right out next to him. And it's just like, oh my God, so freaking heartbreaking. And then on top, then, that all happened. So it's like, great, like you're like one of the guys that I was expecting to come in and take over that freaking Super Bowl is then now out. We put Oren Burks to freaking take his spot, somebody that's supposed to be special teams. Like, I don't know why he's getting this spot there. And what does Kansas City do? Exactly what they should. Pick on freaking Oren Burks. He gave up 9 for 9. 9 catches on 9 attempts, a touchdown, 134.7 passer rating, 1 targeted. He had a 32.1 PFF coverage grade. Like, you can't get any fucking worse than what Oren Burks came into that game and did. So now, are the linebackers that we drafted last season, are they going to be able to ready to come in and take over and play next to Fred this coming up season? Or now we're going to be totally screwed there, and that's going to be a fucking weakness on our defense going forward, like, but most of all, you just have to hurt for freaking Greenlaw. Like, how much he puts into this and how much he loves football, and you're playing in the game of your life and you get hurt like that. Not even on a football play that you could say, yeah, I got tackled so hard and it fucking hurt me, something. No, I'm running out to the field, not even during a freaking play, and tear my Achilles. And then, Fred had mentioned in his presser that Greenlaw's Achilles had been bothering him for a few weeks. So I mean, it makes me think with him saying that and the way that it happened, that if it didn't happen with him running out on the field, that it was probably going in the next couple plays in that game sometime, so it's just very freaking unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's better that it happened on a non-contact situation. Like, I'd rather it happen that way than somebody like he's trying to tackle somebody and they fall on it and tears it even worse. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I guess it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, man, it's terrible. But you know, I mean, next man up type thing, and that's why, like, I don't know what it is about the Niners. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I just pay attention to our team about it the most. But I feel like we're so scared to play our young guys sometimes, which is one of the things where wish we would do more, just
Mm-hmm.
so it's next man up and they're ready. Oren Burks, when Drake Greenlaw was hurt early in the year, he was getting cooked too. So it's like you drafted a Jalen Graham, you drafted a D Winters, and all these other linebackers who are a lot more explosive than Oren Burks and stuff. Give these guys some burn. So when stuff like this happens, like you said, Oren Burks was getting absolutely cooked. So, like, and it's one of those things where it's like, would D Winters or Jalen Graham did any better? I don't know. But it's like one of those things, like, during the season when these young guys get a chance to get some burn, give them some burn. So I guess we'll what this in the offseason, we have no choice. Drake Greenlaw is going to be hurt for at least, 8 months or so before he can be up to speed or whatever the case may be. So, these guys like the D Winters and the Grahams and stuff are just going to have to, get their chance to go out there and shine, and gonna have to step up because that's a huge loss. Because that man's an animal out there. He's a tackling machine, man.
Mm-hmm. I see you guys talking about Conley, man. Like, there was times like every special teams play that we would have for like so many consecutive, times, he's like making a play to where like I'm going to tweet out like Conley,
Yeah.
and Twitter's telling me you already tweeted that. It's like, yeah, that was the last fucking play. Like, we're on a
Hmm.
whole new drive now. But man, he like he was on money that for like for
Yeah.
special teams. And even during the playoffs, like that catch that he had, when we needed that, that game-winning drive, and
Mhm.
he had one of the catches of the freaking drive, like he's
Yeah.
really came in clutch for us.
Yeah, he's done his
For just
thing.
being like a practice squad, guy. Like,
Yeah.
since everybody is here now, let's go ahead and have you guys start entering your numbers for the final giveaway. Again, it's for rookie Ayuk jersey card. That was for us reaching 700 subs. And then we have the Gibson numbered card as well. So get your numbers in 1 through 100. No duplicates. Good luck, everybody.
Mm. So I looked this up, Mariah, because it was bothering me. I asked you about that offensive lineman earlier, Jason Poe.
Yeah, Jason Poe. Yep.
That's the one that you were really high on. That to bring up the, I know you're gonna do the numbers right now, but to bring up the offensive line, like how many years are we gonna have this project and this Alfredo Gutierrez guy? He's not
Well, he don't
sniffing
take
the
up
run.
he
He
don't
don't take
take
up a
up he
roster
don't count
spot.
against a
Yeah,
roster spot. They're in a
yeah, but
special program, so
man,
he can be on the team for the next 30 years. That's not
next 10
hurting
years, I
anybody.
guess. Huh? It's like,
Don't
but
be
yeah,
picking on him. He ain't hurting nobody.
he ain't making nobody better either. No, this way.
Well, no, they're none of those guys are hardly going to make the team. That's the whole point. They never have played football in their lives. They come to, learn. And that's why they don't count against the roster. They don't count
The
against
roster
the
spot stuff.
practice
Yeah.
squad, nothing. Just a free spot given to them.
All right. So to go off the numbers, 14 after was Steve-O at 23. That was the first number. So look down from there and make sure there's no duplicates.
Yep. So get your numbers in. What's up, Miss Deb? I see you. Celts, appreciate you coming through. Alberto, I saw you, but I didn't get to say hi to you yet. So, hi. Get your numbers, and we're getting our asses out of here. So, man, I thought this was really our year. Couple plays go this way, that way. Sucks.
Yeah. And it's funny because I had tweeted, I was like, man, I feel like it's rigged because, living here in Vegas, with the type of stuff that I do around the town, owning a couple businesses and just the type of work that I do, I meet a lot of people. And there's this guy named Kevin who I know who's he's in charge of one of the sports books. And I asked him, I always, ask for advice and stuff. He always says the best bet is the one that you don't make. And he always tells me that kind of stuff. But I asked him, I was like, who do you like in the Super Bowl? He was like, all I'm gonna say is this. So you guys can take it how you want to. He's like, he's like, he's like, as I always tell you, the house never loses. And I said, okay. And he said the NFL loves a good storyline. And I said, okay. So when he said that, it as a fan, it discourages you because you're just like, man, like I don't want to believe that stuff is scripted, but everybody's all about their money. Everybody wants to have their money, and he was just like, and even my daughter, she's 13, she cares nothing about football,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, Dad, and she said, Dad, why does the NFL talk about Taylor Swift so much? And I'm just like, I don't know, Sanaya. Like, it's just, they always doing stuff. And she was like, I feel like it's rigged for Taylor Swift. I was like, oh my God. And this is my daughter saying this. So it's crazy. Like I said, you want to believe that they go in there with the fair advantage and stuff like that. And I'm not saying all these games are like that. But but just for a known fact, he told me when you're betting on the NFL, because the NFL is the most betted on sports in all of sports. Like, and it's not close. And he said, just remember about the NFL. Always bet games that aren't on prime time because they usually go as what they're supposed to be. These prime time games, stay away from them. That's what he told me. So that's all I'll say, fam.
Yeah. I know a lot of people came out after this game and were feeling some kind of way about it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to believe nothing like that. So, because
Yeah.
then it just takes away the fun in freaking watching it.
Yeah.
Last call. Get your numbers in. Brandon Ayuk, rookie jersey card, and Tayshawn Gibson numbered card to end the show. We appreciate you guys all being here with us for almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Been doing our thing.
Y'all are awesome,
What's good
as
about it,
always.
in 10 days, you got the NFL Combine coming up, so we can talk about some good perspectives and we know what we think we should draft and stuff like that. Shout outs to, I think you called. It's funny, me and you were both saying we wanted us to draft a free safety or just a safety period in the third round. But I want to say when we were doing our mock draft, you had named Jair Brown. Like you're like, he's one of the guys I want. I was like, oh, okay. So, so we both knew exactly what we needed, but you actually called out the right player, which was awesome.
Yeah. And man, for him to get a freaking interception in the Super Bowl, uh, it
It's
would have been
always the
nice
people.
if the offense actually got
S-
points off of
got
it instead of freaking
exactly.
being dumbasses. But
Yeah.
like man, and Melissa had asked last week
Mhm.
when JV filled in for you. Melissa had asked if there's going to be a player that breaks Mahomes's streak of not throwing an interception. Who's it going to be? And I said Diamador Lenore or Jair Brown. So
Mm.
I'm glad, so happy for my guy Jair Brown that he got to break Mahomes'
Mhm.
non-interception streak of like 6 games or whatever the hell it was. I don't
And
know.
I think wasn't like, and it's funny. It's like the guy that's most unlikely. Like if it was like Charvarius Ward, Fred Warner, stuff like that. So remember in 2019 that Super Bowl, Tarvarius Moore intercepted
Mhm.
Patrick Mahomes. It's like, what? This fool gets in, it gets interception. Then you got Jair
Yeah,
Brown as a rookie. So it's just funny. It's always the person who you don't expect.
yeah, man, he's gonna be a freaking baller for us. Like I
He
can't
will.
wait to
He is.
see him and have Huff back.
Man, I'm telling you, Honey Badger 2.0. I can't wait.
Last call. Let's draw some numbers. Let's draw. I'm drawing
All right.
Gibson first, and then Ayuk.
All right. Got him ready here.
All right, let's go. Gibson, 72. Did Dawn guess 70 again?
I don't know yet. I'm at the top where Steve put his number in. She actually put 80, so we'll see.
Oh, and Ayuk.
Oh, that
Wow.
is wild. Okay. Well,
Dawn, you should have
remember,
guessed 70.
I don't know because Miss Deb's always putting 69, so we'll see what
Yep,
happens.
I think she
Let me
did
see.
too.
Oh, yeah, I think she did. Let me see.
Miss Deb, you would have had you been here for the giveaways prior, the one that we started and the middle one. Dawn won 3 giveaways with the number 70. So you would have beat her out on all 3 had you been here. Because there were 63, 65, and 64. And now 72 and 71. This number thing, it's rigged too. Everything's rigged. Hi, Sin.
Yeah, Miss Deb is the winner with number 69.
Both of
She
them?
won. She wins them both.
All right. Miss Debbie came in. I'm not shuffling. She gets the Brandon Ayuk rookie card, jersey card for 700 subs giveaway. And she gets the Teran Gibson numbered card as well. Shout out to you, Miss Debbie. Let me play a little something for all our winners. Ah, not that one. I don't want to see no Super Bowl bound. This one. Would have known damn we're going to the Super Bowl. Nothing. Till next season. Congrats to all the winners. TL closing thoughts.
you know, it's kind of hard being a. I mean, it's not. So 49ers are a great team. It's just hard because I was talking to Niner Mike, and I was like, man, it just sucks because we were such the standard when it comes to Super Bowls. I've said it in the beginning of the show, 5-0 in Super Bowl appearances, and now we're 0-3 to finish our last three, and it's been in the last decade.
Hold on.
And man, that's tough. That's just one of those things where it's like we were so used to winning it. I was listening to an interview with Eric Allen, and Eric Allen was like, back in the 90s, early to late 90s, 49ers used to be the team everybody wanted to go to. Everybody wanted to go to 49ers. We knew when free agency come up, it was a blessing for them to call you and your agent say, "Hey, the Niners are interested in you."
Mhm.
And I think, we're starting to get to that. We're at that point because we're such a good team, but we need to start executing, when it comes in Super Bowls and NFC championships and stuff, so we can get over this hump. Like, not seeing a Super Bowl win since '95 it's heartbreaking. So, I hate when I hear people sit and well, I'm not saying hate. Hate's a strong word, but I dislike when people say, "Hey, you should just be happy you got there." I'm
Shut up,
done with
Gina.
that. I'm done with that. I'm done with the now they want to leave. I'm done with the well, at least you got there. Nah, I don't like that. I don't care if I got there. I want to win it because I'm sick of losing it. So yeah, Gina, maybe you can come on our show, after the combine and stuff happens. We can talk some prospects to come to our team. But man, on the bright side, fam, 11 draft picks, and we're not done. People are going to start to poach us for our players and our coaches and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So there's probably more coming. And with that
Hold
many
on.
draft picks, I would like to see a lot of trade up and get some offensive line, get some even bring in another receiver, because Ray, he's probably gone. Like we
Bye.
need, yeah, when he's probably gone. So yeah, it's just like I said, we need to keep our heads up. We have an awesome team, and like I said, if there's some tough decisions that have to be made, then go ahead and do it, Niners, because I'm sick of them running it back because we're not running it back to nothing but losing. So if you have to get some fresh faces up in here at some starting positions, and so be it, because what we've been doing is not working. So those are my final
Mhm.
thoughts.
Don, stay safe. Keep me updated if the power goes out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm
Yeah, Miss
tired
Deb.
of this same old shit. I'm tired of
Yeah.
every year saying this is going to be our year. I feel different this time. I feel the connection in the locker room. I feel this. I feel that. I feel this just to feel heartbreak at the end.
Yeah.
And trust me, as much as oh yeah, it's a waste of a season if you don't win the Super Bowl. I'm all for that. But by no means am I bitching about getting to the NFC and championship
No.
every year. I want to go back to being a fucking 2 and
2 and
14, whatever
13.
the fucking
Yeah, whatever.
numbers
Yeah,
are
yeah,
now.
yeah. 2 and 15. Yeah,
Um,
it'd be 2 and 15 now. Yeah, with the
it's
17 games.
so don't get it twisted, but at some point, like that's what you're playing for is a fucking trophy. Like at some point you have to win it. Like, we can't before I die. Like I was in school the last time we won a freaking Super Bowl. Like I'm old lady now. Like the hell. Um, and I feel for all the fans that they haven't even got to see the team win a
hmm
championship. Like they have to just talk about Super Bowls that they haven't even got to see any.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like I hate that for our fan base. But like I said at the beginning of the show, by no means am I going to burn my jerseys, tear up my shit. Like I'm faithful to the day I die. I have 49ers tattoos on my body. Like I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, it's gonna be a long off season, just getting started, and there's already so much crazy happening. So and it's just the first week. Like
I know.
they didn't even
That's
let us get
crazy.
through freaking Super Bowl heartbreak yet, and we
Yeah.
had to deal with all this other shit too. But yeah, I appreciate Sin. I've seen all five.
I
Well,
saw
good
I
for
saw
you,
3.
Sin.
I saw 3 and that was it. Yeah.
Sin says, I'm taking my cousin's advice. Stop wishing for Super Bowls. Just be pleasantly surprised when it happens.
Hey, that's good advice.
All right, fam. Much love. I appreciate all of y'all for being here, that kicked it with us, that came in, that come back, watch the replay. You guys are all Greatly appreciated. I will be back tomorrow at 3 Pacific time with Steph Sanchez for the Two Goat Show. So make sure you guys come back, come through. And yeah, everybody have a safe, please stay safe, everybody. Fucking crazy people out there. I need you guys all back here with us again. So stay safe. Much
Appreciate that,
love,
Gina.
much appreciation. Until next time, fam. We're out of here.